Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over and recapping the Orioles win over the Chicago White Sox. And not only did they get a win, that also means that they finally won a series for the first time in almost 3 weeks. The last series that they won was the series against the Angels. And that feels like ages ago because a lot has happened since then. But the Orioles have finally won another series, and they won it right before we turn the calendar to the month of June. So starting tomorrow, it is officially June. The month of May is over. The Orioles obviously struggled a lot in the month of May. Their deficit in terms of, games below 500 did increase by quite a bit. But the Orioles did end May off on a win streak. They won their past 2 games. They're actually 6-4 in their last 10 games. They've won 6 out of their last 10 games. So they are going on kind of a little bit of a streak. I wouldn't say it's enough right now to really get them out of this hole that they're in. But we'll see what the month of June is in store. What's in store for this team in the month of June. So we'll see what happens there. But the Orioles did get a big win today. Jackson Holliday hit a homer. We were able to produce some runs in good fashion. The pitching in these past 2 games against the White Sox has been fantastic. Dean Kramer went out there, got in some trouble, was able to fight through it, and have a great game today. So shout out to the pitching again. Shout out to Felix Bautista for getting another save today. Obviously I know it is the White Sox, and the White Sox are going to be the White Sox. But these teams had extremely similar records going into this game, and they still have very similar records. The Orioles are still one of the worst teams in the MLB in terms of record. Obviously, we understand the injuries. We understand the talent that's on this team and how good this team should be. But we know what's been going on with the starting pitching. We know what's been going on with the injuries as well. Speaking of injuries, as we're on the topic with injuries, Ryan Mountcastle got put on the 10-day IL list with a left hamstring strain. So we did call Kobe Mayo up today. He actually was able to knock in a run, and there was a little bit of a fight that started as well. The benches were clearing. Looked like things were going to get pretty interesting, but it kind of de-escalated pretty quickly. But so the Orioles injuries keep on piling on. Just when we're about to get our 2 biggest names back in Colton Cowser and Jordan Westburg, Cedric Mullins obviously yesterday goes on IL, and then today Ryan Mountcastle goes on IL as well. So obviously not very good at all for the Orioles. The injury bug just continues to happen. The curse continues to happen with this team. But at the same time, these 2 injuries shouldn't be nothing too serious, so they should be back in the minimum time. Let's just get right into this game. So going over this Orioles-White Sox game, again, the Orioles did get a big win. They win this game 4-2. They had the lead in the entire game, and they've actually had the lead this entire series. They have not once been down at all in any of these games that they've played. Even in the first game yesterday, the White Sox never had a lead, and then today the White Sox never had a lead as well. So obviously tomorrow the Orioles are going for their first series sweep of the entire season, where they're actually sweeping the other team. They've gotten swept quite a bit this season, but the Orioles are looking to get their first sweep tomorrow, which is going to be very interesting, and hopefully they can go out and do it and start June off well, and also start June off with a sweep. Would be very nice for this Orioles team, because again, as I said before the series started, I think it was after the last series that we played, I said if we lose this series to the White Sox, there is something incredibly wrong with this team, and I know where I stand with this team. And the Orioles have gone out here in the first 2 games against them and gotten wins in both. They have been close games. They have been relatively low scoring for both sides. Obviously, in Game 1, we win 2-1. Today, we win 4-2. So the scoring has been pretty low in this series as a whole. Both these teams have really struggled this season. Obviously, we know the White Sox. We know their talent is not good. But the Orioles season is a little bit different from what the White Sox struggles have been. The White Sox are struggling because they're just not a good team. The Orioles have been struggling because their talent in starting pitching has been horrendous, and they've completely taken us out of games. And also the injuries to this team have been absolutely ridiculous. So, and just things in general just haven't been going well for this team. Obviously, with Brendan Hyde getting fired and everything, we've made the moves that we've needed to make. But as I said earlier, this Orioles team has won 6 of their last 10 games. And, I mean, Does it have something to do with Tony Mansolino? I don't know. But things are starting to happen a little bit. Things are starting to move a little bit. The Orioles are going on a run. This is their best little stretch of games that they've been on all season. And even when it seems like things are over, they go out here and they've gotten wins the past 2 days. And that's, at this point of the season, that's all you can really ask for, is getting wins. I don't care how they do it. I don't care how low scoring it has to be. I don't care how high scoring it has to be. This team, again, is in no position to lose games in general, but especially lose a series. But the Orioles get a series win today. And obviously, as I've said multiple times this season, in the very few series that the Orioles have won this year, they need to take this win and just move forward with it. They need to take this series win, move on to the next series, and then go and win the next series, and so on and so forth. This is the 4th series win of the season for the Orioles, only the 4th series win. Obviously, the series win against the White Sox, then they had a series win against the Angels, then the Guardians, and then the Yankees. So those are the only 4 series that they've won all season. And hopefully there'll be many more. Hopefully that we can go on a stretch of games here and start winning a bunch of series in a row to, again, slowly but surely just chip away at this deficit that this Orioles team is in. Because as Tony Mansolino said, and as, common knowledge also says, the Orioles' number one thing that they need to do right now is just chip away at this deficit that they're in. Get back to being 500, and then hopefully once you're back to being 500, then from there you can kind of figure out what you want to do with your season. Obviously, we want to try and do this as quick as possible, because if we're still in a 15, 16, 17 game deficit by the time that the trade deadline comes around, this front office and Mike Elias might decide to kind of punt the season and then trade guys like Cedric Mullins, maybe even Adley Rutschman, maybe guys like Felix Batiste as well. Punt the season, try and get any sort of picks or something, and then move on from there. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with the trade deadline. That's still a good bit away, so there's still a lot of baseball left to play. It is now officially June. I am recording this episode pretty late, but obviously this is a daily Baltimore sports podcast, so we're going to be going over every single game that happens for the Orioles. And they do play a little bit earlier tomorrow, so I'll have an episode up sometime early afternoon tomorrow, right after the game. But going over this game, again, the Orioles win 4-2. The Orioles offense actually got out-hit by the White Sox. The White Sox actually had quite a lot of opportunities to score runs in this game, and the Orioles pitching and the Orioles defense did an excellent job of holding the runners on base and straining the runners for the White Sox and not allowing them to score, because they had a lot of opportunities. They got on base, 14 times. They had 8 hits, and they also got walked 6 times. So the Orioles were allowing a lot of base runners to get on base for the White Sox. The White Sox had 8 hits in this game. They left 12 guys on base and went 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. That is a stat line, and that is a graphic that we've seen the Orioles go through a lot this season. But the Orioles today were actually able to, kind of capitalize on some stuff going on. And obviously the pitching was excellent in this game. It was a big factor of why we won. The Orioles this game only had 5 total hits, but they were able to score 4 runs off of it. And leading off this game, obviously, the leadoff man, the guy, the future for this team, the stud that we all know him as, Jackson Holliday, who's been playing spectacular this season. He got the leadoff again today. Obviously, he's the new leadoff guy moving forward forever and ever, or not forever and ever, but hopefully for as long as possible. But Jackson Holliday does get the leadoff today, and he goes 1 for 4 with a home run in the first inning. He gets a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first inning to get the scoring started for the Orioles. And once Jackson Holliday hit that home run, you kind of knew that this might be a very good day. Jackson also had a very hard hit ball to center field that almost got out, but just barely didn't get out as well. So Jackson was hitting the ball well today. Matt Holliday and Ethan Holliday were in the crowd just like they were yesterday. Seeing that home run live, it was really cool to see their reactions to that as well. Adley Rutschman in this game, obviously his struggles do continue heavily. He goes 0 for 3. Gunnar Henderson goes 0 for 4. Ryan O'Hearn goes 1 for 4. Ramon Urias 0 for 3. Kobe Mayo goes 1 for 3 with an RBI, his first Major League RBI and one of his first Major League hits. I think it's his 3rd or 4th hit in his career. Obviously, in the times that he's been up, he has struggled heavily. But today he goes 1 for 3 with an RBI, doesn't actually strike out as well. So hopefully Kobe Mayo can get things going. He's a player that, especially last year, I was so excited to see play for us. Obviously, he is one of the highest rated prospects in baseball. Him and Samuel Basallo were two of the highest rated prospects in baseball. The two highest Orioles prospects as well. So I was really excited to see Kobe Mayo play last year. He struggled a lot last season. We had to call him up this year because of the Jordan Westbrook injury. He got called up. Kobe Mayo did horrible. We sent him back down. Then we had to call him back up. And now Kobe Mayo is going to be playing a lot of first base with Ryan Mountcastle out. Kobe Mayo did DH today. It was Ryan O'Hearn at first. But I think Kobe Mayo is going to be playing first most of the time and probably putting Ryan O'Hearn back at DH, especially with guys like Colton Cowser coming back. So Kobe Mayo does get his first RBI, first big league RBI. And also, the bases were clearing because he got caught in a rundown at the same time. And he hit the guy, the guy that was at a second base that was trying to block. He hit him, and the benches were cleared. It didn't escalate at all. It wasn't anything crazy, but the benches did clear, so it was a pretty interesting moment in the game. Heston Kjerstad, his struggles also continue heavily. We have to have a lot of conversations about Heston because he was on a little bit of a hot streak earlier on in the season. He was starting to look very well, but he has done absolutely nothing recently. He goes 0 for 3 again today, and I would not be surprised that when we do decide to activate Colton Cowser, that we do send Heston Kjerstad back down. I think that's the move. I think that Dylan Carlson has kind of solidified his spot over Heston Kjerstad. Dylan Carlson is a better outfielder, defender, and Dylan's also been a lot better at the plate than Heston's been. So Heston's just kind of been an auto out. I think he's going to get sent back down, and it's kind of sad when you look at it from a big perspective because Heston Kjerstad was the second overall pick back in 2019, and he was supposed to really be the guy to bring us into the future, and he's really struggled. He's really, really, really struggled. Heston obviously was a extremely high draft pick, and he just has not lived up to expectations at all, and we keep holding out hope, but he just does not have a place on this team. I think that Heston does have a future in the MLB, and I think that if the Orioles do decide to do any sort of trade where they're acquiring talent instead of trading it, I do think that Heston should be in that deal. We have too much outfielder depth for him to have a spot, and it's just really unfortunate to see what's been going on with Heston. Dylan Carlson, this game goes 1 for 3 with a run scored, and then Jorge Mateo is 100% player of the game in this game, at least for offense. He has an incredible, I wouldn't say an incredible day, but I kind of would at the same time. Jorge Mateo in this game gets on base 3 total times, and he also hits the dagger 2-run home run. It happened in the 5th inning, and it wasn't. I wouldn't necessarily say it was the dagger, but it was kind of the nail in the coffin at that point. The Red Sox weren't, not the Red Sox, the White Sox weren't able to come back from that. Jorge Mateo goes 1 for 1 this game with a home run and also 2 walks. So an incredible game for Jorge Mateo, his best game of the season. Honestly, one of the best games I've seen him have in his career recently. So shout out to Jorge Mateo for having a great day and also hitting a huge 2-run home run to put the Orioles up by 2, which ended up being kind of the dagger in this game as well, and kind of being the game changer in this game. So going over to the pitching, because the pitching was a big reason why we won this game as well. I would say Jorge Mateo and the pitching were the two biggest reasons why they won this game. Dean Kramer goes out there and gets his 5th win of the season. He's 5-5 on the year, 6 innings, gives up 6 hits and 2 walks. Lets on 8 total base runners, got into some trouble, but only allowed 1 run and also had 7 strikeouts across 6 innings and 102 pitch count across 6 innings. He was working. Obviously, 102 pitches thrown, led on 8 base runners, but only allowed 1 run and also had 7 strikeouts. A great game from Dean Kramer. Obviously, we've seen Dean Kramer have his high highs and his really low lows. That's kind of been what his season has been so far. His ERA is still pretty high at a 4.70, but it does drop down from a 5, which is nice to see. Ynier Cano goes out there, his struggles continue as well. 0.1 innings, 2 hits, and a run. At that point, it was a very crucial run because it was a one-run game before Jorge Mateo hit that home run. Keegan Aiken comes into the game, 0.2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, or 1 walk. Anthony Dominguez, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, and a walk. And then Felix Bautista comes into the game to go save the game for the second night in a row on a back-to-back. Goes 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Struck out all the outs in the ninth inning were all strikeouts. 3 strikeouts for Felix Bautista. A 23 pitch count. Obviously led on the 2 walks. Didn't let up any hits. Didn't let up any runs. Didn't let up any runs as well. So we'll take that from Felix. That was his 10th save of the season. Shout out Felix Bautista. Hopefully he can start getting better slowly but surely, and just limiting runners because he's led a lot of runners on base. Whether he's let them score or not. Is up for question, but Felix Bautista's let up a lot of base runners. Not all of them have scored, but he has gotten into some trouble, and he's had to throw a lot of pitches in a closing save scenario. So again, the Orioles get a huge win today, 4-2 win. The Orioles record is sitting at 21-36. 15 games below 500. So again, we were 18 games below 500 less than a week ago. So things are moving in the right direction. If they go out there and they get a win tomorrow, which would be the sweep against the White Sox, where they would sweep the series for the first time this season, they would be sitting at 22-36, which would be 14 games below 500, which is the best that they've been at in about a week because, again, they've been going back and forth with this record, and it's been a lot of down. But again, they have to just keep chipping away at this deficit, get back to being 500, and then you move on with your season from there. Taking a look at the pitching matchup for tomorrow's game. This game is at noon, so it is an early game, obviously third game of the series. It is going to be Adrian Houser versus Charlie Morton. And Adrian Houser, let's just say this: he's been excellent for the White Sox this season. He's been their best pitcher. He has only pitched 12 innings this season, but he has not let up a single run in 12 innings pitched. He's 1-0 with a 0 ERA, a .75 WHIP, 12 innings, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 4 walks. So Adrian Houser, 12 scoreless innings. Hopefully that doesn't continue for too much longer tomorrow, and the Orioles can go out there and get a big start early. But if you do take a look at who is pitching for the Orioles tomorrow, it is going to be Charlie Morton. And I'm not going to sit here and lose my mind and go crazy at Charlie Morton being the starting pitcher in this game, because last outing that Charlie Morton had, it was a very solid outing from him. Obviously, he went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and had 5 strikeouts. But he did only give up 2 runs across 6 innings. So his last outing was very solid. Hopefully he can do something very similar to that tomorrow. It would be really cool to see him go 5 innings, and maybe even 6 innings would be cool. Obviously, I'm not expecting a lot out of Charlie Morton, but it would be cool to see him, push the game and push the innings and see if he can go as far as he can. I don't want another Charlie Morton disaster game. I mean, they are facing the White Sox, so the chances of that happening are a lot lower, but I just don't want to see another disaster class from Charlie Morton in this game. Obviously, a 7 ERA. When you look at it, it's crazy. He's had a lot of lows this season, but ever since we moved him to the bullpen, he has kind of settled into the season, done a lot better, and we'll see what happens with him tomorrow when he gets the start. The White Sox definitely probably have the pitching advantage. Adrian Houser's been great, but hopefully we can get off to an early start, get him rattled early, get to that bullpen early, and just get a nice win tomorrow. Go out there and get a win tomorrow. Go out there, finally sweep a series. Obviously, they won the series today, but they can go out there and sweep the series tomorrow. This team is in no position to where they can kind of just like, okay, we're going to, if we lose, we lose. We're in no position to be saying if we lose, we lose. We have to go out there, be aggressive, go out there and get a win tomorrow, sweep the White Sox, show that you're not on the same tier as this team. Even though your record may be close, everybody knows that the talent of this team and the true potential of the Orioles and what they have and what they've done over the past 2 seasons is nowhere near what the White Sox have done. This Orioles team won 100 games 2 years ago. They won 92 games last season. They had home field advantage in the playoffs last year. Got a bye the year before. This Orioles team has had a ton of success in the regular season over the past 2 years. and they need to go out there and show that they are not on the same tier as the White Sox. So go out there, get the sweep, and we move forward with the season. I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. We went over a lot in this episode, mainly obviously talking about the Orioles and White Sox game. Again, the Orioles got a big win. They're up 2-0 in the series. They can go out there and get the series sweep tomorrow. They got the win today. They can go out there and get the sweep tomorrow. So that's what we're hoping for. That's what I was expecting. Because at the same time, you got to show that you're not on the same level as this team, and you move forward with that. So hoping for the sweep tomorrow. It is a little bit of an earlier game, so I'll have an episode up sometime early afternoon tomorrow, probably right when the game ends. I'll start recording the episode for tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be talking about a win tomorrow, and we move forward with that. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, follow up on all the socials as well in the link in bio. I love all you guys. Appreciate all the support again. Appreciate all the kind comments. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a great day. Peace out.